Hey everybody, Livingston here. Today we're jumping into episode 35 of the Twilight Zone. This time it's The Mighty Casey. Came out June 16th, 1960, and it's another episode I haven't sat down and watched before. Kind of crazy how many of them I've missed this first season, but I know that I have actually sat down and watched several dozen of these, but we still have 156 episodes ahead of us. I should say, actually, 156, take away 35 is our answer, so close to 121. So still got quite a few to go, and I'm sure I'm going to run over some that I haven't seen before. But if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue on this journey with us to episode 156 of the Twilight Zone. Looking forward to diving into season 2 pretty quick, because we're going to be doing a podcast at the end of this season and go over my top 5 and bottom 5. So comment below, let me know what you think of the season altogether, and give me your top 5. I'd love to know your thoughts on your top 5 episodes of this past season. And going forward, I plan on going over comments of the episodes of last week and kind of discussing what your thoughts were on the past episodes. So it's going to be interesting seeing what your thoughts are and kind of have a back and forth more so on this channel going forward from now on. So do that and we should have fun going forward. So let's jump into the episode and see what we're getting into.
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, tilt down.
What you're looking at is a ghost. Once alive, but now deceased. Once upon a time, it was a baseball stadium that housed a major league ball club known as the Hoboken Zephyrs. A wind that sometimes bears a faint ghostly resemblance to the roar of a crowd that once sat here. On a time in Hoboken, New Jersey, it was tryout day. You're about to meet a most unusual fella. A left-handed pitcher named Casey.
Yeah, lefty. I'm a lefty. Is this going to have a happy ending because they said once upon a time? Hey, it's Jack Warden again. He was in a earlier episode, the one where he was on the planet all by himself, or was it an asteroid? He was on an asteroid by himself.
Grand-looking bunch of boys, huh?
Who are you expecting, the All-Stars?
You're general manager of this club. Why don't you get me some ball players?
Yeah.
When the Hoboken Zephyrs win one game, we gotta call it a streak. Oh, buddy boy, when contract time comes around, you don't have to.
He's got a bum leg. What's going to happen? Wow.
Want to look at a pitcher?
New guy.
Look at you.
Is he going to be one that no one can hit on? I don't mean in the bar.
Lefty.
Lefty schmefty. What's the difference? He's got more than one arm and less than 4. He's for us. Yeah. Fletcher can quit now. I got a new boy coming down. Catch him for a while. Check.
Sounds good.
All right, Chavez. Stop already with the calisthenics. That guy in the end's turning blue.
Cool off.
Mr. McGarry?
Okay.
All right, what's the gag? You're the pitcher, huh? Big joke. Yak, yak, yak. Big joke.
I'm Dr. Stillman. Though, of course, I have thrown baseballs in my time. Ah, here comes Casey now. He's the pitcher.
Okay, something's a little off about him.
Casey, this is Mr. McGarry, manager of the Zephyrs.
Oh.
Got a grip.
Oh.
What's this guy's story? Is he an alien? Is he a robot?
You can let go now, Casey.
See that fella out there with the big mitt? Go on out and throw him a few.
Thanks very much, Mr. McGarry.
Oh, he speaks. Thanks, sir.
All right, I see you.
He's not so robotic when he gets on the mound.
Well, I am what you might call his, kind of creator.
Oh. Robot.
How old is he?
How old is he? He's only been in existence 3 weeks.
What?
But in terms of how long he's been here, well, now, the answer to that would be 3 weeks. I built him. He's a robot.
Why do you have to pick on me all the time?
Listen to those smacks. Look like a gunshot when it hits that mitt.
That's his fastball.
My hand hurts, sir. What kind of ball was that? So it did a lot of these.
That's a snowball. It's a bit late.
It's a little too slow.
Why don't you wait right here, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right, let me see that fastball.
You really want to be, like, standing right there for it?
All right, the slow ball.
Strike two, three.
Curve, a slider. He's got a fastball. Almost caught the glove off my hand.
Take a shower.
Get out of here.
He pitches like nothing human. He's rough, Doc. He's plenty rough, but I think we can give him a try. Don't ever say the word R-O-B-B-O-T-T.
There's no two B's in robot.
I think we'll give you a chance. I like to help young ball players, you know?
So he's like the Tin Man?
You go down, take a shower, and then come up, and the three of us will discuss a contract, huh?
You take a shower?
You better go down with him and check his blueprints, Doc. I think that last slow ball shook him up.
Very well. Go on, Casey.
Need to give him a personality. They're really happy.
General Manager's office. Draw up the contract. The only thing that stands between us and the pennant is if this guy's battery goes dead or he rushes in the rain. Come on down here. I want you to shake hands with your new ace pitcher.
Okay. I really want to secretly crush your hand through the robot. I'm gonna be a winner. All right.
The signal's down all right, Casey?
Yes.
Now, above all, kid, don't be nervous. You're one up, and Joe DiMaggio comes to the plate looking intent.
Well, that wouldn't make me nervous. I don't know anyone named Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, you just get in there, kid. Go ahead.
Give it all you can. 110%. Well, you know, don't overdo it.
What team is Casey pitching against?
The New York Giants. Oh, I'd love to beat those Giants. But for that matter, I'd love to beat Cincinnati or...
You know, I think Casey's some sort of a Superman. I'd like to have that proven. Once I built a home economist, a marvelous cook.
What's gonna happen, though, when people find out he's a robot?
I considered that with his strength and accuracy, he'd be a baseball pitcher. Now, in order to have that proved, I had to have him pitch in competition. And as an acid test, to pitch in absolutely the worst ball team I could find.
Thanks a lot, Doc. You got a lot of class.
Well, he was honest. Three shutouts, man. That's unheard of. It's hard to get one, let alone three in a row. Fourth place. I don't know what's gonna happen. At some point, the doc's gonna go like, I gotta like move on. Oh no. He got hit in the head. It's a pretty good robot, though. It looks really lifelike.
No fracture, no concussion. I think you're going to be all right, Mr. Casey.
All I kept thinking about was, there goes Casey, there goes the pennant, there goes the series.
Yes, sir, Mr. Casey. I think you're in good shape here. Although when I heard how hard that ball hit you, I wondered to myself how...
Do you have no heartbeat? No heartbeat.
Cough, Mr. Casey. This man doesn't have any pulse. No, heartbeat.
Oh, great.
This man isn't alive.
What's this all about, Matt? What are you trying to pull off?
He's not real, see?
I'm not gonna like this, Beasley, but...
I think you should know this before you go any further. He's a robot.
You're sure?
By all means, I built him.
And he's been pitching for the Hoboken Zephyrs.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances, as team physician, I'm afraid I must notify the baseball commissioner.
You're in trouble now.
Article 6, Section 2, the baseball code. Teams shall consist of 9 men. End of quote. Not robots. He's suspended. That's my final decision.
To all intents and purposes, he is human. Talk to him. Tell him about yourself.
See, he talks better than me.
How human do you want him? He's got arms and legs and a face, and he talks.
How could he be human without a heart? Therefore, he doesn't play.
Suppose we gave him a heart. I think I could operate, supply him with a heart.
Was that age-old debate? Does a machine have a soul kind of thing? Is it real? Also reminds me of that episode in Star Trek, The Measure of a Man, which with Data and Starfleet wanted to take him in and basically take him apart to see how he was made. And Picard was standing in his corner saying, no, you can't. He's real. He has a soul. He's a life form. And that one, they won. Not sure what this is going to end up with.
Well, the other clubs are gonna scream bloody murder.
Well, then it's all settled. Casey gets a heart and accreditation as being a human.
The Hoboken Zephyrs win the pennant for the first time in 23 years.
Okay.
Operator.
It was also the basis of Bicentennial Man's story at the end. Good movie. You haven't watched it.
Any news?
I don't know. The operator can't get any answer at Dr. Stillman's house.
He's still in the middle of the operation. Well, I can't wait any longer. I gotta get in the lineup. Corrigan, you start.
We're going to lose this one. Maybe they'll pull it out.
And while you're out there playing today, I want you to remember that there's a big fella named Casey lying on a table, struggling for his life. And I know they...
Gotta win one for Casey, guys.
You should go out there, Zephyrs, and win this one for the big guy. Pull yourself together, Monk. From now on, there's gonna be a ghost in the dugout. Old number 7. So just before you go to bat, I want you to look...
He's okay.
He's gonna be there in spirit. He's gonna be yelling and rooting for us and screaming, Casey! Casey!
No one noticed him.
All right, quiet down. Well?
Tell him, Casey. Listen, Mr. McGarry.
Put your head against my chest, sir.
You got a heart.
Or is it a ticking clock?
It's wonderful. Just wonderful. I feel like togetherness.
He's real.
All right, let's get out there. Yeah, you are, 7. Go suit up.
Well, we still have a few minutes left. What's the spin? You know, I felt like we haven't hit that twist yet. Like in these episodes, they're kind of hiding the crowd. They get the wide shots with the crowd, but they're all getting like high angles or low angles, so you don't see what's in the background. All right. Now that he's real, he doesn't have the same mechanics, I guess. This is when you pull him out.
I'm a reasonable man. I'll listen to anything. Or maybe you can explain, Casey, how you can pitch 9 balls and allow 4 singles, 2 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run.
The thing is, Mr. McGarry, I just couldn't strike those poor fellas out. I didn't have it in me to do that. Hurt their feelings. I felt compassion.
He's that compassionate? I don't want them to feel bad. Well, you're making the other team feel bad. The team you play for.
I'm sorry, Mr. McGarry. I just can't hurt fellas' careers. I want to help people.
Well, that's nice. Nothing wrong with that.
Bye.
It is a little hypocritical. Like, I don't want to hurt people, but he ends up hurting the other half of the team.
Perhaps you'd like to keep Casey's blueprints.
I'll make another one, but will it be the same? And is he capable of actually making a robot that looked just like the guy did, Casey?
Hey, Doc, wait a minute! Hey, Doc, wait a minute!
Yeah?
There's a rumor, unsubstantiated, of course, that a manager named McGarry took them to the West Coast and wound up with several pennants and a couple of World Championships. This team had a pitching staff that made history. Of course, none of them smiled very much. But it happens to be a fact. And if you're interested as to where these gentlemen came from, you might check under B for Baseball in the Twilight Zone.
Okay. Well, that was episode 35. Let's jump into some trivia and see what it took to get this show off the ground. Paul Douglas, who had a drinking habit, was originally cast to play McGarry, but on stage began to look red raspily, and it wasn't until his coronary-related death days after the episode was completed that it was realized he had been suffering poor health rather than a reaction to drink. Because the episode was supposed to be a comedy, Rod Serling was reluctant to let it be broadcast with Douglas' impending death essentially captured on film. When CBS refused to pay for the episode to be reshot, Serling personally underwrote the $27,000 it cost to have Jack Warden brought to replace Douglas, and to have some scenes redone with Warden in place of Douglas. Based on one of Serling's plays from before The Twilight Zone was created. When Casey returns to the locker room with a heart, the teammates surrounded him welcoming him back, included an uncredited Don DeLuise. I didn't see him. There is an oil can on the headboard of Casey's bed. No reason is given for this to be present, no character even mentions it. An obvious nod to the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, 1939, also built without a heart. Serling's ending narration was more prophetic than he probably ever could have imagined. He says that that's a rumor, unsubstantiated of course, that a manager named McGarry took them to the West Coast and wound up with several pennants and a couple of world championships. This team had a pitching staff that made history. The Brooklyn Dodgers had already moved to Los Angeles 2 years before by team owner Walter O'Malley, but in the following season after this aired, 1961, Sandy Koufax emerged as a future Hall of Famer, winning 129 games over the next 6 seasons with an ERA of 2.19. His teammate Don Drysdale won 111 games with an ERA of 2.88. The Dodgers won 3 pennants, 63, 65, and 66 in those 6 years, and 2 World Series, the 63 and 65. Robert Sorrells, who plays Casey, became a reclusive, heavy drinker in his later years. On July 24, 2004, he walked into Regency Lounge, a Semi Valley bar, and shot 2 customers, killing 1. He was caught 3 blocks away by police, was arrested for murder, and spent the rest of his life in a prison in Vacaville, California. He died there in July 2019, age 88. Okie dokie. That was not a happy ending for that guy. Filmed at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, home of the minor league Los Angeles Angels, Wrigley Field was a frequent location for baseball movies and programs, including Home Run Derby in 1960. Note the ivy on the outfield walls, similar to its namesake stadium in Chicago. The Zephyrs uniforms have a National League 75th anniversary patch on the left sleeve, which would place their setting of the story in 1951. Okay. This is the second Twilight Zone story pairing Jack Warden with a human robot, the first being The Lonely 1959. That's right, that was a robot. The title is based upon Casey at the Bat, a baseball poem written in 1888 by Ernest Lawrence Thayer, and later popularized by vaudeville renditions. Gotcha. The Mighty Casey is the lowest rated episode of the first season. Hoboken is a city of about 50,000 on the Hudson River across from New York City, with only 1.25 square miles of land, approximately 17 blocks by 19 blocks. It is the third most densely populated city in the United States for cities over 50,000 population. This is one of the 4 Twilight Zone episodes to include an eye, not a spiral, at the introduction. The other 3 are Mr. Beavis, A World of His Own, and The After Hours. I think we've watched them all, so now we're going into back what we actually started out with, I hope, because that's the one I enjoy. The play lists the Brooklyn Dodgers playing in Tibbetts Field, rather than the real Ebbets Field. The Zephyrs are playing the New York Giants, who have moved to San Francisco at the start of 1958 season. One of the only Giants players they show with a visible number on his uniform is number 24, the best player on the New York San Francisco Giants. Of the 50s and 60s was Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who wore number 24. The best player on the New York San Francisco Giants of the 50s and 60s was Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who wore number 24. I think of Willie Mays. I think of Willie Mays Hayes from Major League. The first officially recorded game of baseball took place in Hoboken, New Jersey in 1846 between the Knickerbocker Club and New York Fine Nine. And New York 9 at Elysian Fields. Cool. Rod Serling was a huge baseball fan with several Twilight Zone episodes featuring some reference to the game. As such, Serling would have known that no major league pitcher at the time would wear a single-digit uniform like Casey's number 7 rather than a goof. It is likely a subtle connection between the created Casey and the 7 days of creation. Well, that's it. Let me know, comment below what you thought of this episode. Until next time, see you later.